Hello and welcome to Dan Turismo. I am Dan. Now, apologies for the last video and messing up the recording and everything. I was having a bit of an off day, and to be honest, I'm amazed I went that long before I did something as stupid as not saving the audio. So yeah, sorry about that. I said at the end of the last episode I'm going to spend the money that I got from selling the racing cars that I've banned myself from using to buy my own car and do it up as a racing car. Now, I already know what I'm going to do for this because my friend Alex is also the boss of Realish Racing and a good friend, and he sort of inspired me to do this series. So the other day I asked him, is there any car in particular you'd like to see me use in this series at some point? And straight away he said the Mark II Ford Mondeo. And that's perfect for me because there is a series of races on this that's called the Super Tourer Trophy, which is basically just an excuse to do the 90s Super Tourer, use 90s Super Touring cars in a touring car race. And from memory, I'm fairly certain that all the cars in it are 90s Super Tourers. They got your Primeras, 406s, Honda Accord, Renault Laguna, and also the Ford Mondeo can be race modified to the, the blue and silver Alders livery of the 97-98 Mondeo. So that is absolutely perfect. What's not so perfect is that it only has 167 horsepower. But I'm thinking with some clever tuning that I'm going to try my best to actually do, because I don't see how else I can win it, and possibly some tyres as well. I'm going to check the event to see if they have tyre wear in that. If not, I'm not going to go straight for the qualifiers. I'm just going to sort of go for racing hards and work my way up from there. But that is the perfect way to use it because the car suits the event and Alex wants me to use it basically. So let's buy this, spend all the money on it and see what we're left with. Right, here it is. Wonderful, wonderful Ford Mondeo in BTCC spec. Not sure if it's the 97 or 98 car. I would say 97 actually. It looks a bit older, but I don't really know. Yeah, this was driven by Will Hoy and Paul Radisich. I think someone else drove it in this livery as well, but I can't remember who at this point in time. But yeah, there we are. Look, the power's gone up 5 horsepower from the dealer, so that's useful. Weight is still fairly high. And as you can see, I did have 316 grand, and I've got 115, so that's quite useful to know that about 200 grand can buy me, because I've bought everything that I possibly can for this, apart from traction control and stability control, because who wants that? Yeah, so that's what I've got. I did go for the Racing Slick Hard, because as far as I'm concerned, it's a racing car and it needs to have slick tyres. That's what I'm telling myself, that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, so that's good to know that for 200 grand I can fully kit myself out a racing car. So that's quite achievable actually. I should be able to get through some fairly good stuff. Right, here we are, first event of the Super Touring Trophy. This is at Apricot Hill, which I don't think we've done yet, amazingly. I have changed the tuning settings a bit, but I have no idea how well this is going to go. The horsepower limit's 493, and I don't think they'll have that much. They may have a bit more power than me. But hopefully it's nothing I can't overcome. Now let's hope that this isn't a waste of money. But if it is, it's not my fault because Alex told me to buy it. There we go. Oh, it's quite good actually. It's a little gutless. But in terms of the settings, I've basically softened the front, stiffened the rear, took all the downforce off the rear, put it all on the front. So it's going to oversteer like it should. Actually, the gearing, the auto setting for the gearing was on 1, which is the shortest it can be. So I put it up to 5, but it seems like I maybe could have got away with having it on 1. Maybe not actually, because it's 5 gears. I put more brake bias towards the front as well, because I actually put a brake balance controller on this, because I thought it might be useful. So I put more on the front so I can brake a bit more stable. This isn't going well, is it? It's definitely good in the corners, but on the straights I'm just getting destroyed. Oh, look at that Primera. That's wonderful. This is the great thing about this game, that you could race modify any of the cars that are sort of in the Super Touring area, and they will have a livery that is realistic to, or very similar to, an actual Super Touring livery. Oh, it corners really well. I'm not sure if that's the settings or the tyres I've got on it, but I may go more hardcore with the tyres actually. Three laps. See these corner view bits, I'm definitely quicker than them, but I'm losing so much time on the straights. It's quite realistic actually, because the Mondeo in this form, until it sort of went to the blue and yellow livery in sort of 99 and 2000, before then the Mondeo was one of the worst cars in the Super Touring era of the BTCC. You know, it did well initially when it had Rouse and Radsic, but then over the years, especially as the Aero came in, they sort of slipped back down a bit, and then Will Hoy won a race at Silverstone in the wet, but that was about as good as it got. And then there was the race that Mansell went bananas in and almost won. Right, if I drive really, really well, I may be able to do something. See, some of these liveries aren't BTCC, but they may be from the Japanese touring cars or one of the other many Super Touring championships that were around at the time. Oh, wow, this is fantastic. Right, hopefully they're a bit more spread out now and I can use this car's advantage. As long as I don't hit anyone at the back and lose all my momentum, or clip the grass and lose all my momentum. A tighter, twistier track, maybe I'd have a chance. I think tyres are going to be the only way I can win this. I'm not spending another 200 grand on another Super Tourer to win this. Because frankly, there's not a lot else I can do with one. Nope. Right. Come on, Mondeo. Right, let's just cut the hell out of this chicane. No, don't hit anyone at the back. Oh, hit the grass and... It's alright, they would have got me on the straight anyway. Toyota Corona. Oh, that was a wonderful car in Gran Turismo 1. They look amazing as well, really like them. So we're back doing another Super Touring race. This time it's at Trial Mountain, and I had the hard tyres on, racing hard tyres on in the last race. This time I've gone for the racing super soft because there's no tyre wear. I figured let's just go to the other end of the complete other end of the spectrum, see how good this car is in the corners with these tyres, and see if I can actually win that way. Like, instantly much twitchier because there's just so much more grip. I get the feeling that I can probably take a lot of these corners without even having to brake. No, maybe not, that was optimistic. Oh, goodness me, that turned in very, very pointily. Oh, it's very difficult to drive. It's just so responsive. No, see, this isn't working, is it? Even with the most grippy tyres possible. Oh, wow, that was absolutely insane. Right, I'm just going to chop across this chicane. No, I'm not. I don't need to. It's so open in this game. It's easy flat in most cars. You just lose time going across the grass, if anything. Oh, goodness me, this is... It was nice with the hard tyres. It was really nice. This is difficult. Dear, no, no, no. Yeah, look, I can't even get close to them. Maybe that's because it's the next race in the chain, so the AI is automatically a bit more difficult. But no, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. Oh, thanks, Alex. That's 200,000 credits you owe me. I'll accept it in a pint. Gaining a little bit. There's something way out in front, don't know what it is. Is it one of the Civics? While I'm looking behind me, I'm in last. I was really hoping I could at least sneak one win. Right, it's an awkward bit again. Yes, I did stiffen the suspension massively as well, which is why it's bouncing all over the place, but it's not having any adverse effect. No, the power's not enough in this car. I think if it had over 200, it may just be enough of a difference. And you know what car that makes a prospect for this? And that's the Ford Taurus. But I want to win some stuff with this car first, because it is, at the end of the day, it's still a BTCC Mondeo. It's still really cool. Oh, look at that. Last the whole race and I still 5th on the line. So that's at least something. That was nice. Of course the Civics are going to win. They're way lighter than all of these other cars in it. A Toyota Chaser. I'm babbling. So I was wondering what else I could do with the Mondeo. And there's plenty of stuff I can enter it in, and I think it might win. But I thought now would be a good time to go for this race. This is the second race of the Historic Car Cup. It's at Rome City Course. The power limit is 295, but this is probably the most notorious glitch in Gran Turismo 2, where sometimes you enter this race and one of the opponents is a road-going Ford GT40, which has more than 295 horsepower, not much more, I think it's about 310, but it's just such a step up from other cars that it makes it really difficult to win if the car is in the race. So we're going to race, and so I'm going to start the race, and I'm actually going to hope that it's there, because I want you to see it in the race being completely dominant and unbalanced and all the rest of it. If it's not, we'll just win it anyway, and hooray! But let's see what we've got. Fantastic, there it is, right in front of me on the grid. I'm still in the Mondeo. I've left the super soft tyres on it because it surely must be quicker than having the hard tyres on, even though it's a lot easier to drive with the hard tyres on. At least it's not on the front row of the grid, because that means it's going to be cooped up behind the AI for at least a couple of corners. I can hopefully get off in the lead. Oh, there it is, look. There it goes. Now, can I catch it? Can this fully race prepared Super Touring Mondeo catch the illegal GT40? But look at it go on the straights. Yeah, quite often in the past on this it's a case of simply restarting the race until it's not an opponent, because it's so difficult to beat. I mean, I know there are cars where you can beat it easily, but it's the thing, it's at Rome again. Like I said in previous races, you can stay with them through all these tight bits, but you've got this long back straight near the end of the lap, so any advantage you gain they just catch up, pass you, and unless you absolutely nail the last two corners, then you're not gonna beat them. That's probably the best I've ever done that, and I've gained slightly. See, we're crushing them, even though this has only got 170 horsepower. But the GT40, I mean, it's just checked out now, isn't it? There's no catching that. It's almost driven past the draw distance of the game. And in a game with rubber banding and AI like this, that's extreme. But look at the cornering speed of this Mondeo. I've gained it all back in those 2 or 3 corners. No, let me see, all these are too fast. It needs the medium speed corners in this car to have an advantage over that. I wonder if I can wall ride the last 2 corners. Do I want to try that? I can't remember if it's possible or not, or if it's just a 90-degree. No, oh no, you can. Let's try it here as well. Oh no, that's a bit too square. Now I'm going to spin and lose second, aren't I? Oh no. Oh well. But that's the Gran Turismo glitch as far as I'm concerned. The unbeatable GT40 in a race it shouldn't even be allowed to enter. Because if you buy one and try to enter it, it won't let you. So we're still in the Mondeo because I figure it's got to earn me some money, isn't it? At least win me one car that I can sell. We're at the AT Sports Car Cup at Special Stage Route 5, which I tried before in something. I can't remember what. It might have been the Celica. But didn't win, so I'm going to win that now. I can't remember in this if you win cars multiple times. I think you can. So I think if I did the same race twice, I would get 2 of the prize cars. So I'm going to try not to do, because that's a little bit lame. Just grinding to get money to make it easier. If I really come up against a brick wall, I'll do that, but... I've learned good lessons from the Mondeo. I've learned that it costs about 200k to fully race prep a car. I've learned that in terms of tyres, the racing hards feel better than the softs, and not a whole lot slower. And I've learned that I need something reasonably powerful for the Super Tourer Cup. Whether or not the Ford Taurus will be enough, because that's got about 230 horsepower to this car's 170, and it's a bit heavier. So I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I'll need it more power again. The horsepower limit for this race is 345, which is more or less double what this car actually has. And it's doing well, so it's certainly a good car. It's just perhaps not quite suited to this style of playthrough. Here they come. Oh, there goes a micro. I mean, even though they're soft tyres, I think they're a bit twitchy. They're not bad on this track, so it's actually quite smooth. Whereas Trial Mountain with all its undulations and things, you sort of go over a crest or a rise and get a bit of air, and then when it lands it just grips and goes in the direction you're pointing. Which when you're using sort of digital steering on a PS1 game with dodgy physics anyway, it's a little bit unpredictable. But this is a bit more manageable. But I still prefer the sort of linearity of the hard tyres. Nothing wrong with the setup I've done on this either, which is good to know, so I'll just try and apply that to every car I've done. All I did was lower it massively, stiffen the springs slightly, with the rear slightly stiffer than the front, but that's because this is a front-wheel drive car. On a rear-wheel drive car I'd do that the other way around. Same with the anti-roll bars, stiffer on the rear, softer on the front, but again, that would be the inverse for a rear-wheel drive car. What else do I do? Gearing, that sort of car specific and track specific. Aero, all on the front on this car, none on the rear. I try and do that with any car that I race in any racing game because that's how I like them to handle. Oh, I really am slow on the straights. I'm going to have to do some serious defending on the last lap. And even then that may not work. So even though I'm comfortably ahead at this part, the power is so low that any advantage I gain is just eaten up by the time I get to a straight. Right, come on Mondeo. Let's really give you some stick. I've driven so hard and in such a way that the pack of chasing cars has been broken up slightly. No! No! Oh dearie me. I was so shocked that I carried so much speed into the first part of that chicane that I forgot to slow down for the second part of it. Right. This would be okay. Safety car it up. No, no. Getting swamped. No. Oh god, no. I'm going to finish. Oh, I'm not going to finish last at least. Oh dear. Yeah, well, the Mondeo is decent, but not decent enough. Right, we're back in the RS200. There's a lot of Fords in this, aren't I? Perhaps I should avoid them from now on. Anyway, yeah, this is another race in the 18 Sports Car Cup, which I've yet to win at Seattle City Course. The noise of this car is just so wrong. It just sounds like a two-stroke moped or something. But they have got the suspension. Well, I think it's roughly right anyway. I don't know whether that's on purpose or by accident. But the RS200 in real life didn't really get to sort of live up to its full potential as a rally car because Group B got cancelled. But it showed most promise on tough stages or tough rallies because it was quite robust and had good suspension travel, as opposed to the sort of Delta S4 and 205, which are a bit more specialised and a bit more hardcore, whereas this was very Ford-like and very workman-like. Yeah, and it sort of feels a bit like that on this as well, I suppose. It's a shame you can't race modify, because it'd be nice to be racing this around in a proper, blue and white M Sport livery, or that wouldn't be M Sport, would it? Ugh. But this is such a nice car to drive. It feels a little bit ponderous after driving the Mondeo, but I did have racing tyres on that. But winning this race at a canter. So what am I going to do sort of after this? The Mondeo, I was hoping that would at least maybe win one Super Tourer race. I guess I kind of want to go for that again. But I don't want to use the Taurus. Like I said, I've used too many Fords. As much as I'd like to put it in an inappropriate NASCAR livery, I'd also like to use something a bit more unique. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll try and find the most powerful front-wheel drive car in the game, and I'll try and use that. That may already be the Taurus actually, but I'll have a scout around, or at least something with a more power than the Mondeo, possibly the Taurus, but with a much better power to weight ratio. It's just so nice to drive. You just shift the weight on, it understeers at sort of medium-high speed, but you just stab the brake, shift the weight to the front, and then it pivots around beautifully. Oh yes, look at that, well under the 1 minute 40 barrier. Stunning lap time. Yeah, it's funny, the Mondeo with all the upgrades, like literally the most upgraded I could make it in terms of the rules of the video. It's basically, that was what I was hoping would work in this, that I could win races with cars like that against cars like in the last 80s Car Cup races at Special Stage Route 5. But it's still sort of proving to me that power is ultimately king. And that if you've got a powerful car, regardless of the setup you've got on it, the tyres you've got on it, you're going to be better off. So maybe I was right when I was 9 years old and just focusing on that. Maybe I was right not to worry about suspension or LSD. I was definitely right not to worry about LSD when I was 9. Oh, it's a joke about drugs. Oh, wonderful. Oh, is this going to be quicker than that 39.9? Better bloody be, because this has felt like a good lap. Yes, there we go. Oh, what a wonderful car that is. So much fun to drive. That would be good for one of the sort of shorter endurance races, actually. I got curious. So I've entered the RS200 into a Super Tourer race at Laguna Seca. Now I'm not going to, if this works, I'm not going to do all of them in this car. I'm still going to try and find something that works. But I just wanted to know, you see, whether the Mondeo, which was, you could sort of hang on the back of them around a track, and see how this car compared. Now I'm in the lead straight away because I've got a four-wheel drive and they haven't. But at this point, this is where you'd expect them to catch up because of their superior cornering, and that Civic certainly looks pretty quick. Well, surely, how is the Civic powering past me? And this has got 380 horsepower. Civic can't have that much, can it? I know it's lighter. I see, that's frustrating that the Mondeo couldn't do this with all those upgrades, but this is leading. Brake too late there. Let's try and get a good bounce with the wall. Even better, I hit the invisible wall because I was in mid-air at the time, which lost me no speed whatsoever, apparently. Did not do that at all well. But we're still in the lead, that's good. I think as long as I can stay ahead I might be alright, but if it gets past me at any point, then I may start to struggle. I feel a little bit less guilty about doing this race in this car because that Civic's not a Super Tourer, is it? It may have been them at some point, I don't know. I'm not particularly au fait with the history of BTCC, particularly in the sort of early 90s when Group A changed to Super Touring. God, how pretentious did I sound when I was saying that? Sorry. Oh, wow. Look at that! I know I cut it a little bit, but this car was just so planted going through the corkscrew that I just took a good 2 seconds out of them. Don't hit the pit entrance, don't hit the pit entrance, don't hit the pit entrance. Good! Oh, we've got 3 laps. I wonder what car I'll win from this. Could be absolutely nothing of any significance, or because it's an international B licence race and it's on the last page of special events, it could be quite a good car. See, that's where they seem quicker than me, the fast corners like that, where I have to sort of lift off or dab the brakes, whereas they can probably just take flat out. I should really try and stop over-analysing the AI, because it's just that, it's AI. It doesn't conform to, it probably doesn't conform to the physics you'd expect or understand. It just does it based on what I'm doing in my car. No! I did not do that so smoothly, but luckily they don't seem particularly quick through there either. Oh, this isn't going to beat a 1:27.8 that I did on the last lap, is it? Right, 1 corner to go. No! No! No, 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 no. Oh, I should be alright. Phew! Well, I really fell apart at the end there, but that's a win. Good race though, I enjoyed that. So I've got 2 prize cars. The first one was from the 80s Car Cup race, which was this Mugen Integra, which I don't need, so I'm going to sell. And the other one was from that Super Tourer race, which is this. This is the TRD 3000 GT that was in Gran Turismo 1, and it's like some sort of amazing car, so I'm going to keep that because it's awesome. I love the Toyota Supra. I'm not a fan of modified cars in general, but I do like the TRD 3000 GT. It's got a sort of a special place in my heart because it's a Gran Turismo 1 classic. And I'm going to see what I can do and take it out for a drive now. Yep, so I'm in the TRD 3000 GT, doing the last race of the Japanese National Cup at midfield. It should be a win. It's got almost the same amount of power as the power limit. But yeah, this car was like almost mythical to me in Gran Turismo 1 because it's not in any of the dealers or anything, and you know, it's not something that you particularly would know about. But every now and then you would do a race and it would crop up as an opponent. I particularly remember the Autumn Ring. I'm not sure what challenge, what race. It may have been like the Japan versus UK Cup or something, but and you would just see the name at the end of the race. You wouldn't notice in the race because you just think pass it and think, oh, it's a Supra. and I would see its name in the results at the end. I think, whoa, what is that? And then I would go through the replay and look for it, and I think, wow. And then you eventually win it for something, and it's kind of exciting, isn't it, when you sort of discover something that you didn't know about, especially when you're young like that. Anyway, this is nice to drive, this is. And it rewards me. Well, I'm trying to blame it for my spin. That was all my own incompetence there. Okay, low speeds, it doesn't like it. High speeds, it's good. Oh, look at that, nice and quick on the straights as well. 6 gears as well. Is this my first car with 6 gears? Who knows? Yeah, this is definitely staying in the garage. Don't know what I'll be able to use it for, but I'm not getting rid of this. Oh, it's difficult, but it's rewarding when you get a slide like that right. It doesn't seem to like it, but it can do it. Just got to be a bit more cautious down into the hairpin here. This is what I love about this track. It's got a bit of everything. It's what I used to sort of test all my cars on. Particularly on Gran Turismo 3, I would do a tune and take it on this track. It's got fast sweepers, that fast double right at the start, then it's got that quick left right or right left chicane, the long left hander at the top which sort of tests understeer and all that jazz. Then you've got that difficult braking into the hairpin, and then a big long straight. Really good, and it's short as well, and I always like testing on short tracks. Anyway, that was a good reunion with that car. I enjoyed that, and I hope you did too. Right, so that's the end of that episode. Next episode we'll try and look for something a bit more super tourer-y than the RS200 to do those races with. The Mondeo didn't work. Sorry about that, Alex. I gave it a go, gave it my best, but it's just not quite quick enough. Yeah, so if you enjoyed that, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time. Dan out.